Okay, my dear students, today we would be discussing the steps in the process of organizing. So to discuss it in detail, let us first take an example and then the things would be very clear in your mind. Suppose any NGO wants to have an awareness campaign in the different area that how people can protect themselves from this coronavirus. So there would be naturally one person who would be coordinating all these things. So take the example of that person is Mr. Aman. So Aman is the coordinator of this NGO who is going to create an awareness especially among the rural area of a particular zone. So what he has to do now, to how he will organize this entire campaign. So the first thing which he has to do, he need to identify the work and then divide the work. So what he may have to do, he is the overall in charge for this. So to ensure that this campaign is organized successfully, so he has to identify the various activities involved into it, like how he will get the permission from the government, then how he will go to the people who are authorized in the rural area, like Pradhan. He needs to meet to the Pradhan of that particular area, and then so there may be one chief guest who will inaugurate this, so he need to arrange a chief guest. Then he will be looking for the venue to organize this kind of campaign, because he need to take care of the social distancing aspect also. So then he need to arrange for the place, the audio system, because how he will communicate. So all these things he has to put at that particular venue where he has to organize it. So he will fix up all such type of thing, and then he has to divide this whole work into various task group. Correct? Now in the second step, that is called as departmentalization. So now after doing this, what he has to do, now he will form the different committees, different group, like one reception committee will go to meet to the people whom they want to invite. Then there would be one committee who will be doing the event management of that particular area or the things. Then there may be one committee who is the technical committee, so who would be having all the information about this pandemic, this virus. There would be some expert people who would be telling the people that how they can save themselves. So all these different types of committees would be formed. So this may be termed as departmentalization of this. Now see the third step, is assignment of duties. Now what he has to do in order to facilitate all these things coordinated well, and all these committees, these different departments, so he has to assign duties to each of the members, and he also need to appoint a group leader or the supervisor for each group which he has formed. So this will come under the assignment of duties. Now this fourth step, this is again very important. Correct? So you need to establish the reporting relationship, like who will report to whom. So here each member in the group is asked to report to their respective supervisor or the group leader, and all these supervisors are expected to work as per Aman's order. So with his sincere endeavor, this awareness campaign is going to be a grand success, and it will help many people, many government agencies, even people would be in a situation to control over this. So all these four steps need to be taken. Now we will be discussing this one by one in detail, so that you can have a very clear picture about all these steps. Okay, now usually I give this as a challenge to you, that make an acronyms, but here it is very simple to make the acronyms. So simple work would be done by me, difficult work would be done by you, correct? So for difficult things I give you as a challenge. Now here it is very simple, so we can take this idea. This I stands for identification or division of work, and then D stands for departmentalization, correct, or grouping of the work, and then this A stands for assignment of duties, and this E is of course establishing reporting relationship. So idea is the word by which you can easily remember this: identification and division of work, departmentalization, assignment of duties, and establishing reporting relationship. So these are the 4 steps which you can take into it, correct? Now one by one let us discuss. First point is identification and division of work. The first step in any organizing process is that the manager has to identify and divide the total work to be done as per the plan which they have made. So already you have made a plan. Now based on that planning, you would be making a list of the work, that these are the work which is to be done, and then how it is to be divided. So the work is divided into what? Manageable activities. This is very important term here, manageable activities. Manageable activities means which can be easily managed at one place or by one person, so that there is no duplication of efforts, and the burden of the work also can be shared by all the employees, right? Getting it? Take an example. In bank, what happens? The total work is divided among different employees. Like the division of work also promotes specialization and systematic working, as each individual is assigned work as per his qualification and capabilities. You must have seen in the bank what happens. There is a person who is to collect the money, then there is a person where you will be depositing your money, and if you have to some work like you need to make a draft, then there is another person. So see, the bank is doing lot of functions, but here if you enter into a bank, you will find different units are there. So how bank has identified the different work, and it has been divided into manageable activities. Like if you ask one person, suppose there is no one in the bank and only one manager is there, it happens sometime, and the same person has to receive the money, same person has to give money, and same person is there who is going to take care of the loan aspect also, and the same person is making the draft also. It will be very difficult. This will be complete unorganized things, right? So it is very necessary that the thing should be properly organized in this way. So the first step is identifying the activities and then divide this into manageable activities, correct? These things you need to remember, so that duplication can be avoided and the burden of work also can be reduced. Then the second one comes as departmentation or departmentalization, or you can call it in simple word grouping of work. So after identification, when you have identified the activities, now we have divided the work, means the division of work also has been done. Now the next step is to group related and similar jobs under one department. So such grouping is known as departmentation or departmentalization, correct? And definitely this will facilitate specialization, because the one person doing same kind of work again and again repetitively, so naturally he will be expert of that. So it will facilitate specialization. Getting it? So the grouping may be done on the basis of like functions, like purchase department, marketing department, finance department. So all the functions related to finance will be done in finance department, correct? And then you may have different criteria also, like you may divide or you may group the work on the basis of the products, right? Suppose one company is manufacturing electronic gadgets, clothes and cosmetics, so they may divide their units into on the basis of the product, like electronic gadgets unit, clothes unit, cosmetic units, and then they can do according to their work. There may be a third option also, like it may be divided on the basis of territory, no, areas like north zone, south zone, west zone, east zone, like this also can be divided. Some of the companies keep it on the basis of the state. If the big state, large state is there, like in some company keeps UP in two department, UP East, UP West, and if the state is small, then they can make the two states together. So it depends that how you are going to make this departmentalization or this grouping of the activities. It will completely dependent on the nature of the business, that what you are going to do. So accordingly you will organize the things. You may take the example like sales, advertisement, all these can be grouped under marketing department, correct? Then accounting, auditing, taxation, all these type of activities can be grouped under finance department. So these are the criteria how you can create departments, create units in your organization. It will completely dependent on the business to business, it will vary, correct? So this is what it is written here, that department can be created using several criteria. The criteria may differ. Third is assignment of duties. Now see, after grouping, you have identified, you have divided the work, you have created the departments, you have made the group of various activities into department in the second step. Now it is necessary to define the work of different job position and to allocate work to various employees. So each department is placed under the charge of an individual. So you need to decide here one head of the department. For example, finance manager may be the head of finance department. Marketing manager may be the head of marketing department. A production manager can be the head of the production department. So in this way you need to make here people responsible and give them the authority. So you are actually assigning here the duties to them, and duties should be assigned to the members of each department on the basis of what? Their skills, their competencies, right? You need to see that whether that person can do this work or not, and then only you should give them that particular duty. This you need to see as a manager. And so you need to have a proper match between nature of job and ability of that particular individual. This is very important for the effective performance. So the work must be assigned to those who are best fitted. You must remember this word, best fitted. For example, purchase manager must be assigned duties related to purchase of raw materials, right? Because he only would be the expert about knowing the from where the raw materials should be purchased, from where the raw materials can be purchased at economical cost, at lesser cost. And then the fourth point comes as establishing the reporting relationship. This fourth aspect becomes very important here. Why? Because just by allocating the work, you cannot ensure the success of the organization. So after assigning duties, means after taking the third step, it is very important that the next step is to clearly define the authority and responsibility associated with each job. So here it is very important that each individual should also know who he has to take orders from, right? Who will give him the order and to whom he is accountable for, right? So it means that there is a need to create superior subordinate relationship. I'm repeating this word, superior subordinate relationship, and this only will establish a very clear relationship among superior and subordinate. So this establishment of such clear relationship help to create a hierarchical structure and helps in coordination amongst various departments. For example, it may be laid down that employees involved in production, purchase and stores will take order from and be accountable to production manager only. Like there may be a clerk whose job is to do the typing, but he is a typist for finance department only. So he would be taking the order from the finance manager only. So in this way, these four functions, these four steps are taken to complete the procedure of organizing.